If you accept the vibrational quality of that which you are, and you accept that your most powerful desire is the manifestation of the emotion, and you accept that once you've accomplished that, now you've connected with source energy, now you're in the place of allowing all of this alignment and all of this power, that emotional manifestation is the grid that will fill in with such detail to surprise and delight you and inspire you and thrill you and others, never endingly, never endingly, never endingly. So if you start with this emotional basis and you let it be what you are really reaching for, and you accept it as the only thing that is important for you to accomplish, and so you begin going after it, we want you to think of that emotional accomplishment or that emotional manifestation as the general but pure basis of creation. Now, it will fill in with more specifics. It just must, because law of attraction is going to fill it in. And it will fill it in with the specifics that match the basis of it. So that's why we're saying, if you will take the time to lay a basis, because when you love and hate and love and hate and love and hate, your grid is filled in with lovely things and hateful things and lovely things and hateful things. When you're sure and afraid and sure and afraid and sure and afraid, your grid fills in with certainty and fearful things. And so as you clarify deliberately this emotional basis, and then you watch the manifestations reflect that, it gives you your conscious awareness. It's really what deliberate creation is. But it will always fill in with more specifics. So we've been talking for quite a while about this emotional scale that goes from despair and depression all the way up into ecstasy, with some of everything in between. And now we're presenting an emotional scale that is less detailed, and it goes like this: specifically negative, generally positive, specifically positive. Because we want to emphasize that if something's gone wrong and you're feeling specifically negative, because there's lots of details that have filled in that are frightening you or angering you, that your dominant intention is just to get as general as you can about it, which means talk to people less about it, or if you're talking to them, talk in more general terms, rather than saying why you hate that person and the details of all the things that they've done wrong to you. Be more general by saying things like, I'm uncomfortable with that person and I don't want to talk about why. In other words, the more general you are, the less powerful the frequency is, the less attractive the frequency is, and the easier it is to move into a generally good feeling emotion. And once you find that generally good feeling emotion, then the details will fill in. Now, in all of this, and this is the piece that is new, in all of this conversation about deliberate creation, we've been encouraging you to focus your thoughts. Today, we're encouraging you to focus your thoughts still, but focus them around the subject of emotion. In other words, focus your thoughts on how you want to feel and leave it at that. Because we've been saying to you for a while that you have enough vibrational basis in your vortex of creation to keep you busy for 20 or 30 lifetimes of manifestation.
That's incredible.
And it's time for you to start cashing in your coupons. It's time for you to begin redeeming what you've put there. And the way to do it is to focus on this emotional basis. We've been playing with the law of attraction cards, pointing out that when you try to affirm something wanted from a place of feeling its absence, that all you end up doing is affirming its absence in a more powerful way. You don't mean to. In other words, I want more money, I want more money, I want more money. When you want more money, just makes the absence of money more painful. And the more specific you get about why you want the money, when you really feel the absence of the money, it makes you sort of dig in a way you don't mean to. Where if you can get more general, it causes you to release your grip just a little bit, you see. That's the process that is the most leading edge and active. And now we're filling it in with more detail about this emotional basis. And as you listen and resonate and then play with it over the next few days, you're going to discover the power of it. Here's the way it works. life has caused you to already launch your rocket of desire. Whether you are consciously speaking about it or not, there is a collection of all that you want that is spinning vibrationally and attracting. And when you become a match to that, then the manifestation must occur. What trips most people up is that in the wanting of something that they don't have, their awareness of not having it is too significant a part of the mix. So when they think of what they want, what they're really focused upon is the absence of it. So it just holds them there, you see. That's why we're trying to convince you to let the manifestation that you're looking for be the one that you can redeem right now. Be the one that you can get right now. That you want the manifestation of the feeling. So in a very direct answer to your question, we would say the manifestation that we would be seeking constantly, if we were standing in your physical shoes, would be the manifestation of a really good feeling emotion, whether it's one of interest or one of fun or one of love or one of appreciation or one of passion. We'd be looking for that feeling. That would be the goal that we would set. Step one is ask, and the contrast causes you to ask and ask and ask. Step two is source becomes the vibrational equivalent of what you've asked for. Source just doesn't answer, source becomes the answer. And it's right there flowing to you and through you. So then you must become a vibrational match to what you've asked for. That's the whole point. That's what the art of allowing is. That's what we teach all day, every day. Adjust my frequency so that I match the frequency of that which my source is. And in that alignment, then I will find the emotional joy, which is the success that I'm really looking for. Triad of intentions. The most important thing that you're asking for all day, every day is joy. The basis of your life is freedom. You are so free you can choose bondage. But your objective is that of joy. And of course, the result of that is eternal expansion. But if you've got your eye set on the expansion, which is more the goal orientation that most people have, rather than the goal of joy, then things sort of get out of whack. When your intention is joy, because you can control it right here, right now things come into... So we want to just go a little step further with this, because your question is stirring something up that we can give a very specific answer to. So let's say that you are without something that you really want. And you are so aware that you are without something that you really want that it's sort of dominating your thoughts. You're almost obsessed with this awareness that you are not where you want to be. And so you set a goal. A stronger goal, like you need to. Like life hasn't already set the goal and set it and set it and set it and set it. Like you need to write it down again. Like you need to tell somebody, you need to go to a class, you need to put it on a billboard. You don't need to. It's already there in this vortex. And the energy that creates worlds is on it. And all of the cooperative components have already been gathered. In other words, not only have you set the goal, but the larger part of you has already realized the goal, is already vibrationally experiencing the emotional manifestation of the goal. Are you following? So your work then is to bring yourself into vibrational alignment with it. So the more general you are in the beginning, the less you will be resisting it. Because if you get specific about something that you really want that you specifically don't have, the more you focus on it in specifics, the more you just compound the current vibration and hold yourself there vibrationally apart from what you really want. It's why it gets so frustrating. But if you begin to relax in that, go negative but general negative, begin to diffuse the specifics of it, you'll feel better and better and better and better. Saying things like, well, this sucks. It's general. You're less specific than when you're telling someone all of the detailed reasons why it sucks. Or say something like, well, this too shall pass. Now you're moving a little more over into the general and positive. But at least you're not beating the detailed drum of what you don't want. Now, what begins to happen as you begin to diffuse the specifics of this unwanted thing is that the active vibration of unwanted begins to dissipate because of your lack of attention to it, because it's only your attention to it that keeps anything active. So as you distract yourself from the specifics by deliberately focusing upon the general, it begins to move, and you begin moving closer and closer, vibrationally speaking, to this vortex. So now you begin speaking more generally positive, and it begins to feel good to you. You begin to feel the resistance lift up off of you because you're not keeping the resistance active anymore. And as the resistance lifts up off of you, you begin to feel better. You begin to feel better emotionally, and you begin to become clearer in your mind, and you begin to get closer to the details that you've been putting there incrementally, the details that you don't have access to when you're specifically focused in opposition to them. So now what happens is the thing begins to tip for you. It's like the fulcrum point just tips, and suddenly, and it will feel sudden to you, you begin to find more specifics about the thing that you want. And then it can get exciting. In other words, to talk about what you want in detail when there's no resistance is really intoxicating. It's really what the feeling of passion is. It's so fun to get really specifically focused. But we want to explain to you how it is that that happens. How it is that it happens is that you've already focused the details into being one at a time without even consciously realizing that you've done that. But because you've been vibrationally in a different place, you haven't had access to those details. As you diffuse the only thing that's holding you away from it, law of attraction and the power of that which you really are calls you closer and closer to it. And the closer to it you become, the more you are able to translate the vibration of it into meaningful things. Like first it's emotion, then it's thoughts, then it's words, then details begin coming. It's the understanding that things are always working out for you, and that if you would stop doing that thing you do that's keeping them from working out, they would work out. So the question is, should I be setting the goal? And the answer is, if you are in a negative place, no, because setting a goal of what you do want from your awareness that you don't have it only compounds the resistance. So the thing that, if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would be attempting to manifest would be an emotion. So let's say you're worried or fearful or frustrated, but let's say it's a negative emotion. We would want to manifest an emotion that felt better. That would be our goal. And at first, it might just be one of distraction. It might just be one of a feeling of peacefulness. It might just be one of a feeling of just sort of letting go. Would you rather feel peaceful or passionate? You would, wouldn't you? But isn't peaceful along the way? Would you rather feel passionate or desperate? Isn't there a big range of difference? Would you rather feel peaceful or desperate? Peaceful. In other words, it's easy to tell which one feels better. And so as you make it an emotional thing, as you let your goals be about your emotions, what happens is you gain control of your vibrational stance. If you will get your attention upon the manifestation of the way you feel, now you've got control of everything. And until you do, you've got control of nothing. We've enjoyed this interaction immensely. It is delicious to come together with those like you who are willing to rendezvous with us out on the leading edge in a new place. It is satisfying to feel the power of your desire and hear the specifics of that which you are about, and to resonate with the fullness of who you are in your vortex, and then express it verbally and vibrationally, and feel you get up to speed with the fullness of it. For us, these gatherings are always more emotional than they are verbal, meaning it is always much more of a feeling experience as we feel you little by little come into fuller resonance with who you really are. We want to say to you that we all make way too much of all of this. That you can't get it wrong and you never get it done. And the reason that you never get it wrong is because it's not done. It's never done. It's never done. It's never done. It's never done. There's just more opportunity for you to discover and experience the fullness of who you are. So when you find that emotional place, when you decide that your emotion right here, right now, is the manifestation that you're reaching for and the manifestation that you have control over, and you figure out how to go general if you need to, how to milk the vortex if you want to, when you figure out how to hold yourself increasingly in more and more of those good feeling emotions, And then you consciously acknowledge the manifestations that must come on the heels.